Looking forward now to introduce, we're going to go from Oklahoma all the way up into Ohio. And David Runkle's with us today, the Vinton Soil and Water Conservation District. How you doing today, David?
Pretty good. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Fire away when ready.
All right, let me see if I can gain control of everything. And Amy, I feel your pain on being a nervous public speaker, 100%. All right, let's see if they slide. All right, so let me tell you real quickly, who am I? So you know who the guy talking at you is. Was born in Pennsylvania, moved here to Ohio when I was a little kid. I moved down to Southern Ohio in '08 to attend Hocking College, where I got my associates in forest management. And then I pursued a higher education at OU in plant biology. And during my time going through college, I worked for the USDA Forest Service and in conjunction with the Ohio State University for about a decade doing forest ecology research. A lot of that was based on wildlife, fire in a forest setting, and regeneration before, during, and after different timber harvests. So it's a pretty easy transition for me to go to Vinton Soil and Water, where I work as their forester and wildlife specialist. So that worked out pretty well. I will add that Vinton Soil and Water started in 1946, so we've been around for a long time. It's neat to know our current chairman, or our current fiscal officer, his father started the district in 1948 with the first $5 in the bank account. So I think that's pretty neat. Our office here in Vinton County in southeastern Ohio, we are the least populated county in the state. We have one stoplight in the whole county, and it's 2 miles south on our road. Our office is located in the community building. Our office is in the basement, so we jokingly call ourselves the cellar dwellers. Usually gets a good kick out of landowners, so we roll with it. Vinton County is about 80% forested, maybe 10% either hay or cattle production. The last 10% is a toss-up between row crops, water. We have a couple lakes, and probably the least would be human footprint. So we have very little blacktop in this county. So some services that we offer, I'm not going to bore you with this. The theme here is we are very, very diverse. If it involves natural resources, we try to have our hands in it in one way or the other. Some things I didn't put on here is we do have some equipment. We have a tree planter, which we run out every year to plant more trees. We do have several sales per year, which I find to be great outreach programs. We have fish sales, and when customers come in to pick up their fish from the fish truck, there's always 2 minutes of chit chat, like, "Hey, how's your pond? What else is on your land?" Right? That's how we help folks put in better fences and do better grazing management plans and forest management plans, just by way of saying hello. Another one on here I think I could probably mention is our wildfire suppression program, and I'll delve into that one a little bit later. So how did we become standalone? I don't really know for sure. It was long before my time. So I did my due diligence to try and contact anybody that was around back then. And here's what I do know. Everybody retired. So I got a hold of one guy at his house, and he told me that in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, Vinton Soil and Water became standalone due to NRCS just doing a standard field office reduction, which was based on the workload of the counties. And I also learned before that, in the early 90s, for reasons we couldn't figure out, Vinton Soil and Water kind of merged with the Jackson NRCS office. And then in the late 90s, switched it up, and now we merged with the Athens office. Benefits and drawbacks to everything in life, right? Everything's got a double-edged sword. There's two sides to every coin. One benefit I find, oddly enough, is we're a small district. We're not a lot of funding, so we don't have a lot of employees. There's only 2 of us here. So in the last couple of years, only having 2 people in the office has allowed us to continue to work a lot, whether we rotate the office or maintain our distance. That has been a huge help in the last couple of years. I'm sure you guys can imagine why. Also, being not co-located, it does, oddly enough, I can call this a benefit at times, it limits our foot traffic. For example, right now, I am petrified that someone's going to walk in the door and start talking to me about their farm. So hopefully, Sherry can snag him at the door and give me some time to not get distracted. Another benefit that I find for us is we are extremely independent. We're self-reliant, and we have resilience to the ebbs and flows of NRCS funding. We're essentially immune to it. If NRCS were to lose funding, we will still survive and we'll still do our jobs. Another benefit that came from being independent is we're extremely diverse. We have some of these programs about to mention pay for a majority of our funding, I believe. So we have a wildfire program. We're the only ones in the state that have it, where essentially the district will loan out my services to the state, who then loans out my services to the Fed. So some of my Western presenters here, I've been in your states fighting wildfires. So that does generate some revenue for us. We have a wildlife specialist program, which is an agreement with the Ohio Division of Wildlife, where we essentially act as an agent for the Division of Wildlife to help folks with wildlife issues, whether it be deer permits for ag land or other nuisance wildlife, CWD testing, just helping folks in general better manage their properties for wildlife. Ohio has, I don't want to brag, but we have trophy white-tailed deer, and it's a big economy for us. So we have a lot of absentee landowners that buy ground and want to chase down bigger bucks. We help them do that. Another benefit I found is due to not being co-located with NRCS, we're a little bit more free in that we can, we don't have to ask permission to do stuff. We just kind of, when we ask our board permission, but we don't have to ask NRCS permission. And there's very little delay with us on the board. So if we wanted to create a social media account, we didn't have to jump through any paperwork or hoops. We just did it. And that kind of goes with, I've noticed a theme that other folks not co-located with NRCS did not have to follow federal guidelines in the last couple of years, which allowed us to, for the most part, stay open, within reason, and still get the job done, which I thought that was a huge benefit compared to my neighboring counties who really struggled to find a way to earn a paycheck during the last couple of years. Some drawbacks, there's always two sides of the coin, right? Paperwork can be extremely cumbersome. So we're here in Vinton County. When folks want to register with FSA, they have to go down to Jackson County. And then if they want to get into EQIP, they got to go over to NRCS in Athens County. So for a Vinton County landowner, to get one EQIP contract, they have to pay visits to 3 different counties. So that can be pretty cumbersome. Also, that cumbersome, I'm not able to just pop in the next door and ask Joe a question or anything like that. I have to reach out to him via phone or email or something like that. So there's a delay there. Supply delays. In the last couple of years, NRCS was gracious enough to supply us with PPE for the last couple of years. Sometimes there was a delay there. We had to tell them to order it. They had to tell someone to order it. They had to get it and then get it to us. So there was some delays there. With that, there's communication delays. If NRCS is out in the field and I have a question for them, it's kind of hard to ask that question until they get back to the computer or cell service. We do have supplies and technology issues. Being that we're a small district with limited funding, we have to borrow a lot from NRCS, and there's again that delay to get their equipment. And when I use their computer server, I have to use a virtual server, so GIS doesn't work. I have to send my signal from my computer to in Kansas City and then back. So it's pretty delayed when I'm using a lot of bandwidth in the computer. And then obviously, we're responsible for our own rent and utilities now, which is a financial burden. But fortunately, this was all worked out before me, and we became very diverse and found ways to fund ourselves without needing NRCS. With all those ups and downs, my best advice to anybody either already not co-located or staring on the barrel of possibly being all by yourselves, be flexible. You'll make it work. You'll find a way to make it work. Understand that, we're on a team. NRCS will have its perks and benefits, and it will also have some downsides. You just got to take the good with the bad and then keep rolling. Another thing I find that helps us a lot is extremely clear communications with between NRCS, the landowner, our district, and any other contractors that might be involved with the project. Just because I'm sure you guys are aware, you're out in the field, you say something, it might be 2 words different than whatever someone else said, and that can create some problems. It's the game of telephone. You say, I like Snicker bars, and by the time it gets around the room, it's Babe Ruth hit a home run. So my advice is to nip that in the bud and just have clear communications with everyone from the get-go. Be an optimist. This helps a lot. For example, I'll give you a quick one here. I had a BMP complaint, which is best management practice complaints and sediment in a waterway. And in working with the complainant for the next couple months, we got to build some rapport. They have a few children, and we created a NASP team who now compete in state competitions. They're not winning yet, but they're new, but they're competitive in the NASP. realm here in Ohio. Through that same group of people and parents and kids, we created an Envirothon team. So they are participating in their very first Envirothon next Tuesday. So I coached them along, so I'm pretty confident they'll do pretty good. And the same group of folks that all started from that BMP complaint, we currently have 2 new EQIP contracts in the mix for this year. And I anticipate those landowners doing a lot more in the future. So seize the opportunity when it's out there, because you never know when something good will pop up. And lastly, I hope I don't have to say this, you guys all know this, but be friendly. We are all on the same team and we're all striving for the same goals one way or the other. And there we go. In conclusion, teamwork makes the dream work. If you guys got any questions, I'm available via now, the chat, email, snail mail, phone call, whatever works. I will do my best to help you out.